Okay. Now getting on to the last the one on jobs. We moved to Ithaca in 1943. In April of 1944, I attended Frank David Boynton Junior High School, and I turned 12 after that, so I could get a job as a paper boy, which I did. And actually, I had two paper routes for a while, and then I went back to one. And then they were starting to change things a little bit in the paper thing, and I was old enough then, and I could get a job elsewhere. So I tried a couple of places, and the second place, I decided to stay there with them, and that was Al Fontana's shoe shop, which was across the street and up a block from where I lived, which made it convenient. And I did the shoe finishing and so on, so that, I worked on a machine with burnishing ink and so on, cleaning up the shoes after they repaired them and finishing them so they would be ready for them to wear when I got them. They ground down the heels and all that sort of stuff. Occasionally I did pounded heels myself and all that sort of thing. So then I worked at that for 35 cents an hour all through high school. And then the last summer his father had died, who had a shop up on College Avenue. So he went back to Italy, and while he was back there, I opened up the big store where he was, that he had on Eddy Street, and was there until noon, and then Caesar, his son, came and took over. So I worked at the shoe shop for the summer and up until noon, and then went up to the other shop and opened that up for the afternoon. I was up there by myself, and then the first one I ran in the morning, the main one, and that Al owned. And he's of course, the only one left there now is Caesar. I have talked with him once, and that was Caesar was his grandfather, and the fellow I worked for was Al, and then his son, Caesar, is the one that I traded off with there a little bit at the end. So I saved up that summer and bought my flute and ended up going to Ithaca College School of Music for the next semester. Ran out of money, and then I went home and basically went to work for the Palace, for the Palace Laundry, which was actually the father and family of that Ellen, my girlfriend, had been with. So, at any rate, I drove a laundry truck for them until it was time that Phyllis was able to get out of school, and we were headed west to California. So, that's the big deal. The family, Mother and Phyllis drove back without me, and I ended up in the Coast Guard, and I ended up in Northern California, in the Bay Area, where I went to boot camp, and then got assigned to Southern California on the Perseus, and I got, after a couple of months, I was vulnerable because I was the new guy on the block, and some guy came down from Alaska and bumped me up to Alaska. That's how I ended up in Alaska. So I was there for 2 years, and then I came back south to Los Angeles and kind of hung around the base there in Los Angeles until it was time for discharge. And meanwhile, I was able to get quite a bit of liberty and go up and visit family.